What I want to talk to you tonight about is bad spring advice. And I know it's kind of challenging sometimes to walk into spring, right out of winter. Where did my bad word or top bad spring advice? Okay, sometimes StreamYard messes up my slides. But anyway, so I want to talk to you about the top bad spring advice that we do hear from people. It's out there. And there's a lot of places where we can get advice. And let me say a couple of things about our advice that we hear in beekeeping. First of all, I'm David Burns. I'm a certified master beekeeper with the Eastern Apicultural Society. I was certified in 2010. That would have been 16 years ago. Wow, that seemed like a long time. And anyway, but at the same time, even though I'm certified, I don't know everything. I make the occasional mistake. I'm not perfect, but I do my best to stick to science and keep learning. That's what's important to me. But I don't believe it's my way or the highway. Some people make beekeepers feel bad if they don't do it exactly the way they want them to. And some clubs are that way. Not all, but you'll find a group of people that one person seems to want everybody to do it their way. And if you don't, they kind of give you the trouble for it. But that's not me. I want to support you in whatever you're doing to a point where you're not absolutely killing your bees without knowing it. I'll guide you out of that if you are. But I like to give advice based on science, and I like to give recommendations. A lot of people ask me, would it be okay if I do this? Should I do that? Is it okay if I do that? And my response is, first, it all depends on a lot of factors. Secondly, know that you can do whatever you want to. I'll give you some information that might help you make that decision, but I don't like telling people what to do. I like for people to have critical thinking skills and learn things on their own by, thinking it through. But I will certainly answer questions like if they ask, hey, do bees do this? And okay, like here's an example. My bees are bringing in pollen. Does that guarantee there's a queen in there? And the answer is, no, it doesn't. Not at all. Bees are bringing in pollen because they can. Now, after a certain point, when the populations of the hive gets low because they don't have a queen anymore and they don't have a need to raise brood, yeah, you could see a decrease in pollen coming in the front door of the hive in the entrance. But right off the bat, these foragers are going to keep doing this with or without a queen for quite some time. So that's kind of advice sometimes that we hear that can be really misleading to people. Some people might hear about swarming. Is it okay? Well, I'm going to teach on this. So let me jump right into this. Okay. All right. This is pretty common. I hear people say it's getting a little bit better now, but I hear people saying, don't feed your bees in the spring or late winter, or even in the winter. Don't feed your bees. They say that's bad advice. Well, a lot of people hear some people give the advice that, feeding your bees moisture liquid in the spring, late winter or spring will cause dysentery because it adds more moisture to the hive. Now let's talk about that, because dysentery is more caused, well, it can be caused from nosema, of course, a microsporidian. But let's say it's not a microsporidian, not nosema, it's just dysentery. So is it being caused because the hive is consuming too much liquid syrup? So the answer I always give to people is, don't feed 1-to-1 sugar water or syrup unless you know that the bees can take a cleansing flight, a potty flight. Okay. So if your bees are flying, if you walk out there and there goes your bees, maybe there's nothing for them to forage on just yet, but they're out there flying, getting water, getting some pollen. There's always pollen out there in the forest, the bed of the forest. There's always little tiny flowers. What are they called? Box. There's a bush that we have. I've forgotten the name of it now, but it's a bush that's around our house, and starts one word is box something. Box. I don't know what the other word is. It will flower it started flowering about a week or two ago. Oh my gosh, all the bees are all over it, and it makes a yellow pollen. A lot of mason bees are on it. But that's an example that bees are going out looking for things. Now, if bees are flying, then you're more than able to feed them liquid, because they will take a cleansing flight when they take off, like a bird does. They'll just poop when they start flying. So yeah, we worry about dysentery if we're feeding our bees and they have no way to relieve the buildup of their waste. But so just keep that in mind, that it doesn't hurt your bees at all if they can take a cleansing flight, because that's what they would do anyway. They're out there flying. Okay. So that's important, because a lot of people ask me, do bees need fed if they have honey on board? I think I made a video yesterday, and one of the comments was just that. They said, do you really need to feed this hive that you split, the parent hive? Because I saw a lot of stored honey on board. So the answer to that is yes, and let me explain this. So again, some bad advice is don't feed them because they have honey on there. Well, here's the deal. I'm trying to raise more brood. I want more bees so I can make splits, so I can sell nucleuses, so that I could raise queens. I want to have enough bees where I can do everything with a whole bunch of bees. Okay. So I'm feeding them syrup, 1-to-1 sugar water with my additives now, so that they can continue to support brood rearing. That's what I'm doing. So if you're not interested in that, you could probably not have to feed them if they have honey. But bees will always go for that thin syrup to help them raise brood. They will always go to that before they start eating their stored thicker honey. Should they decide to eat their honey, as many people say they will, it's a little bit too thick for them. And so what they have to do is go out and go to your gutters and water puddles, and they have to get moisture. They have to get water in their honey crop, bring it back, and they have to actually dilute the honey so that they can work it into that thin syrup. So I just bypass that and make it easy for them this time of the year, so they don't have to go for that honey just yet. So those are some examples of bad spring advice. Another bad example of spring advice is another example of bad spring advice is a lot of people start way too early. Beekeeping is very competitive. It really is. It's amazing how many people want to have the most number of hives. That makes them an all-star in beekeeping. They can brag at the local club, I guess. Some people want to start their new package way before anybody else does, because they want to get a head start on the apple blossoms, and they want to start early before the guy down the road starts and all that. I guess, I don't know. So some people get their packages and nukes, especially packages, way early. And so if you just stop and think about that, most packages come from the West or the South. And so these bees are enjoying nice warm weather where they're in their hive, and beekeepers shake them into a package and they ship them up to your cold, snowy location. And then you install them, and usually it's on undrawn foundation if you're a new beekeeper. So even though you're trying to get all this going really fast because somebody told you to, there's nothing for them to forage on. It's cold nights. They're on cold plastic foundation. It can really cause them to perish or set them back greatly. Now, if you just hold your jets and wait a little bit until, it's mid-April for Illinois, for example, that's about the best time to get your bees, mid to late Aprils. My wife, Sherry, she showed me a color chart of hummingbird migration. And she said, look at this, David. This is exactly when people should install their packages. And I said, wow, you're right. It's the same as hummingbird migration. And so she put that on our Facebook, our beekeeping Facebook today. And I thought that was really a good thing to look at. So it's kind of hard to start with nukes unless you buy them in the South. If like our nukes that we sell, we actually overwinter our bees, and then they're overwintered colonies. So we have to wait until we can raise queens, and we have to wait until we have enough bees that are strong enough to split our hives. So that's usually, late May by the time we can do that. This year might be a little earlier, fingers crossed, but we'll see. So let's talk about splits. There's a lot of wrong or bad advice around splitting your hive. Yesterday, I made a video. Patrick and I filmed a video of me making a split. I was explicit that I was making this video 3 weeks before I normally do, because I simply wanted to make that video to help people who in the South may be doing it now or already have, but they might need the information right away. And I said, for me, normally the 3rd week of April, or when dandelions are blooming heavily, is a great time to start making my split. And so those are the conditions that you need to consider when making a split, okay? First, you got to have drones, not just drone cells. You got to have drones. Now, drones have to be about 22 days old, 23 days old after they emerge from their cell to be fully mature enough to go out on a mating flight. So when you make splits, oftentimes you are wanting your bees to raise their own queens. And for those queens to mate, they have to have a lot of drones in what we call a drone congregation area, a mile and a half, 2 miles away. All the drones gather. All the guys are hanging out, waiting for a virgin queen to fly in there, and they chase her and they have a date, family friendly. And so that's how she gets mated, and she flies back. She's a mated queen. So you need to have drones that are mature enough, good weather. You have to have hot days and warm nights for a split to work, because if you chill them, the brood will die. It's called chilled brood. And you have to have queens that, you know, a hive would make queen cells and make queens. And of course, you need a lot of resources for these bees that you made your split to go out there and build combs. So you need a lot of resources. So think that through. So in my case right now, I do have drones. They're about probably maybe 2 weeks away from being mature to fill up DCAs. I don't have any resources. Nope, nothing. Not a dandelion has the nerve to show its flower yet. Not in central Illinois. They're not raising queens. I don't have hot days, with the exception of a rare hot day like today. And I don't have warm nights yet. So I'm not really in a position to make splits just yet. Now, another great advice, let me give this to you. Are you ready? Hold on to something. Mind-blowing advice coming up now. Worth the whole live stream. When should you make a split? About a week or two before your bees swarm naturally. So about when your bees start swarming, you should have made your split a week or two before that. So you figure that part out. So a lot of people say, bad advice again, if they survive the winter, they are strong bees. That's not true at all. And I would say most of the time, the opposite is the case. Many hives come out of winter and they are weak in population. Now, it's not the case if you are someone who fed your bees in the winter, you wrapped them up good, you fed them, you kept your mites under control, you have a good laying queen. Most of us come out of winter like I did, with just busting out of the seams bees. Now, you can watch the video that Patrick and I made yesterday. I posted it yesterday, and you can see it was an overwhelming hive to work just 5 days after winter. It was packed. It was difficult to work. They were so full. That is a strong colony. But you can oftentimes have colonies that come out very weak, low in population. They can come out of winter if they can come out of winter with high mite counts, lots of small hive beetles. Small hive beetles overwinter in the cluster. Some people think winter kills them off. No, they go through winter along with your bees. And sometimes you can notice little to no stores of pollen on your frames, and that's really devastating. So just go out there this week, if it warms up enough, next time it warms up, go out there and inspect, see what kind of pollen stores you have on an overwintered colony. And if you don't see a lot, it's hard for them to raise brood without bee bread to support those nurse bees. So mostly, another thing to consider, this is very educational, listen up. Most of the winter bees are dying really fast now. So if you go out there and look, you see a lot of bees, but you don't see a lot of brood. The bees you're looking at are winter bees, diutinous bees, and they're on their last 6 leg. They're on 1 leg out of 6. So they're on their last leg. And so if you don't have any brood, where's your workforce? These winter bees are going to die really fast now. So you might see a lot of numbers, but are they the number of bees that you want? You want to see eggs, larvae, capped over pupae. So you have to actually do a visible inspection to verify the healthier colony. Don't go necessarily by what they're bringing in the front door. Don't go by what the calendar says. Don't go by what a Facebook group said. You've got to go out there and visibly look and see and be a real critical thinking to make these decisions, okay? Also, some more bad advice is add supers early to prevent swarming. Now, this is bad advice because adding honey supers early does not necessarily guarantee against swarming, because the bees are still instinctively wanting to reproduce. They're wanting to make that swarm as a way of making a new hive. This is how bees make babies, make hives, reproduction. And they do this whether you stack 100 supers on top or not. So don't get caught up in that bad advice as your only way of preventing swarming, or else your bees, when it warms up, conditions are favorable, they're going to go to the trees and you're going to lose them, okay? So be really careful about adding your supers too early. And one of the things that we do at the live stream is we always have a word of the live stream. And I have a whole list of these that I've been sharing with you after each teaching. And I thought this would be a good word for us to use in beekeeping. Homeostasis. Do you know what that means? Well, it's the colony's ability to regulate temperature, regulate their humidity, regulate their population and resources to help their hive remain stable and functioning as a single balanced organism. Homeostasis. So this is important this time of the year because even though we have these roller coaster temperatures, we actually have the benefit of homeostasis at work in that super single organism of the beehive. And they're trying their best to keep their hive regulated. Tomorrow night when it gets down to 25 degrees Fahrenheit, the bees are going to be warming it up, trying to keep all that brood alive that they've been making for me. They're going to have to work hard. That's why I didn't take my insulation off everything yet. And then, when it warms up like it did today, they're working to keep it not to overheat when it gets really warm on a warm day. So our bees are really good at homeostasis, balancing out that single organism. That's great. Let me jump ahead here. I'm going to show. Okay, good. Robbie, I'm going to let you close that out, and then you can show us. I want to talk about some Beak Squad merchandise real quick because Candy does a great job with our Beak Squad merchandise, and many of you have taken advantage of purchasing some of the merchandise. If you're new, my handle on YouTube is Beak, and you're the squad. If you watch my videos, or particularly if you're on the live stream. So we have Beak Squad hats. We have a new shirt in the middle, and it says, "I've got your back." And on the front, it's got the Beak Squad logo on the front, the right left pocket. But that's a cool shirt, a new shirt that we just started. There's another shirt that I really like. On the front, it says, "Don't see a queen. Do you have a virgin queen? No eggs present, no larvae. Is your honey uncapped? Wait 10 days. You hear me say that a lot when you're wondering about, wow, what do I do? Do I need to wait 10 days? Wait 10 days and see if the hive will give you more data or if they may recover and fix things on their own. And also in the upper left corner, look at that, cowboy up. You see that behind me now? Well, in a minute. But cowboy up is a phrase I started using on my channel here. And that's a way of saying that beekeepers just have to cowboy up. You can't be a coward in beekeeping. Here's some other things that we have. We have coasters, tumblers. We have a cool coffee mug of the Van Gogh Starry Night. And the guys beekeepers looking out at the beehives. That's kind of cool. Keychains. So these are just fun things. And mouse pads are available too. Look at those mouse pads. Yep, we still need mouse pads. And there's the website. Do you see it says order at Creations by Candy, myshopify.com. So jot that down. And when you come to the next conference I'm speaking at, be sure and wear some Beak Squad merchandise so I can recognize and know who you are. Know that you're one of the people that join us on the live stream. A lot of fun. And we are going to be giving away in a little bit some merchandise from the Beak Squad. So that'll be fun. So stay tuned for that. Okay, let's get into your questions tonight and see what is on your mind, and I can help you in beekeeping. All right, David, I'm getting 2 packages of buckfast bees in the middle of April. Have you had any experience with this type of bee? If not, any suggestions? Yes, I have. I didn't really see any difference. I've tried for all of you that are going to ask me, David, have you tried Carniolans? Have you tried, I don't know, all the different, Italian, Russians, Saskatchewan, and have you tried, what are some more? Let's see. Well, I've basically tried them all, probably. Yeah, I really have. I've tried ankle biters. I've tried VSH. I've tried Mite Resistance. I've tried Randy Oliver's. I've tried all of the queens that you can think of, kind of put them through my own little test. And one of the things that's pretty amazing that I never want to put down anybody's business or queens. So I'm going to say it this way. Before you put all your money and hopes in a particular queen, buckfast is what we're talking about here, make sure that you have all the other factors, fundamentals down pat, okay? No matter what queen you have in there, if you're not a good beekeeper and they start having issues that you can't solve, a queen can't save the hive, okay? A queen cannot stop small hive beetle. A queen cannot stop an infestation of viruses from the viral mite. I mean, maybe if she's VSH or mite resistant, she can help. But again, if you get mite infestation, the queen can't do anything about that. The queen can't put coats on all the girls in the wintertime. You understand what I'm saying? You got to be the beekeeper. So I see a lot of people putting their hopes in queens, but it's more about you understanding it. Okay. You want your queen to be a good layer is basically what you're looking for. Makes all the difference. Thank you guys for your super stickers and donations tonight. All donations go to help the live stream. So we appreciate that so much. When making a split, how far away do I have to separate the splits, or can they be side by side? No, they can't be side by side, or all your foragers will go back to the parent hive. We usually move them a little bit away, and then I put something large in front of it. Watch my video I made yesterday. I explained exactly how to keep your foragers from going back to the parent hive. If your foragers go back, your split is basically doomed, okay? And so that's important. Yep. Hey, Jeremiah, thanks for your donation tonight. Hi, Larry. I have a hive near a fence which needs to be rebuilt. Can I move it? Is it okay to close them in with ventilation for a couple of days to protect the fence crew? Washington, daytime temp 70. Yeah, you can do that. That's no guarantee that a bee won't find her way out and all the other ones will follow. Every time I try to screen in bees and keep them in like that, lo and behold, there's some little crack, crevice, or something that bees have come out of. So, that may not be the answer. I don't like doing that at 70. If it's screened, they can ventilate, but they're losing out on their ability to do some things. Now, you might say, yeah, but if it was raining outside, they would do that. True. So just make sure they have food. You may want to feed them during that time that you close them off. Hey, Wayne, thanks for your donation. Super chat tonight. Appreciate it. I had some dead outs this year, lots of pollen frames and bee bread. Will the bees use it this year if I use those frames to start my new hive? They absolutely will. Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Losing bees is part of being a beekeeper. And so it will help those bees have a head start if they can have that. Absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Sam. Going to install 2 packages. Saskatraz. I knew it was gonna get there. I think I had the wrong word earlier. Gonna try those bees because obviously they're the best bees in the world. And oh, wait a minute. I'm going to try to install them, hoping to also try grafting some queens from them once they settle. Is there anything special I need to watch for other than queen? Oh, I see, in your package. Well, you know, one of the things you want to watch for, Steve, is that a lot of times bees will abscond in a package. Does everybody know what abscond means? It means when you spend all that money to buy equipment, take a class, buy your bees, and you shake your package into a hive, like my videos show, then all at once, in a day or two, all your bees will fly away. All of them. Usually the queen too. Not always, but usually the queen too. They're gone. That's called absconding. So watch for that. Techniques to avoid that, to help avoid that, would be to put a queen excluder on your bottom board to help hold the hive in a little bit longer. Try to feed them. Try to wax your frames. Spray a little sugar. You want to do everything you can to make these bees want to stay in that box. Otherwise, they can fly away. And yeah, it would be cool if you want to raise queens from those queens. Just remember, open air mating, haploid diploid genetics, you're not going to have the same exact genetics from her daughters, obviously, as you would your queen that you're using to mate. David, when making a split with the queen, resources, mostly empty frames in the bottom and swarm cells in the top. Let me think about that. If you move the top box, will the bees in the bottom still want to swarm? You're almost describing a demarré method to me, because you're wanting to put mostly empty frames in the bottom and you're wanting to move all the brood up in the top box. But demarré, you put more space between them, like more supers or boxes between the two boxes, and a queen excluder. So yeah, I see what you're saying. The question is, will that stop swarming? Let me just say the word reproduction. All right, that's all you need to hear. Will that stop reproduction? No way. No, they're going to do it. So it's not a bad attempt, but I don't think so. Thank you, Marianne. Good to see you on the live stream tonight. Got a big crowd here tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I need to split my oldest hive, but I'm a bit intimidated. I live in central Illinois, and I don't know when is best. Well, I just described it to you, Graham. So if you dropped in a little bit late before my teaching, in my teaching, I gave you all the details about when to know to make that split. I'll just help you out and say, not now. You need to wait until you see dandelions, okay? And that's a pretty good indication that you got a green light to go. Not always, but usually. Hey, Charlie, good to see you. I watched that video of you and Patrick. How long do you keep those bees in the 5-frame nook? If it's in a long amount of time, would it be better putting it in a 8-frame box? Oh, I see. Yeah, I put them in a 5-frame nuke, and I put them in the 5-frame box, Charlie, because tomorrow night, 27 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to go out there and pick them up. And I didn't want to pick up a big 8 or 10 frame box. It's wider, hard to carry, bottom board. So this is going to be easier for me just to pick this nuke up. I'll rotate the door closed, or whatever I need to do to close it off with a screen, and I'll just move them here in the shop overnight, let them back out in the morning. So I did that. And when will I put them back into a 10 frame? It's going to be a little bit of time. I'm not worried about it. I'd say at least a week and a half to 2 weeks, probably. Yeah. Thanks for watching that video. That was a good video. David, why do they put pollen? Why do they put pollen in drawn super when they have space in the deep? Thanks for your teachings and opportunity for us to ask. The reason is because they're raising brood. They'll put the pollen usually where they're wanting to raise brood, right? And so the heat of the hive is moving upward into those supers up there, and the queen is up there. Probably it's where they're going to do it. That's where my hive with Patrick and I filmed. We had plenty of brood up in that honey super. So that's why they're doing it. Raising brood. Hey, Danny. I was reading an article in American Bee Journal, and the writer talked about switching queens after 8 to 9 days to keep from absconding. What's your take on this issue? Oh, so after you buy a package, in 8 or 9 days, you're going to switch the queen. I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, right off the bat, I don't see the biology behind that. I don't see it at all. But I didn't read the article. So I'm just, at this point, not educated as to what the reasoning is behind it. I do want to know why the reasoning is. To me, I want my queen to get out and start laying some eggs. Then they're committed. But if I swap a queen out, I don't know. I got to know more information about that. That's interesting. In your last video on an early split, you didn't say what you do with the original hive after the queen is removed. Do you go back in and take all but one queen cell, UK based? Well, man, it's late in the day for you, and thanks for watching, by the way. I was asked that before, Brian, and here's the deal. In the parent colony, which I took the queen from, they will raise a replacement queen, or 2 or 3. And the way that works, simple, those queens will fight it out until only one is alive, and that will be the ruler, the queen of the hive. I don't have to do anything. They will make all that happen themselves. In 30 days, I'll have a mated queen laying, and if not, I'll have to move over a frame of eggs or put another queen in there that's mated. Hey, Justin, thanks for your donation tonight, buddy. Appreciate it. David, my bees are strong and working hard. Question, is it okay to leave my plastic entrance guard on my hive, or should I remove it? I have both top doors open and elevated as a mouse guard. Here's the way to think about that. If the bees are having no trouble going in and out, and they're, sometimes these mouse guards can cause them to lose a lot of pollen. So be watching for that. But as long as they're doing okay, going in and out, and they're not losing pollen off their legs excessively, you'll be fine. Yep. Let the bees show you what's going on. All right. Good questions tonight. In central Maine, our temperature is approaching mid 40s to low 50s in the daytime, below freezing at night. Should I add liquid feed or stay with the Winter Be Kind board? Will it slow down my queen's laying workforce? You're right on the border there, Kevin. What I would probably suggest, it says you're below freezing. Not going to hurt anything if you want to kind of tinker around with 1 or 2 hives to see if they take it. Put a little mark on your jar, make sure they're eating it. It's not going to hurt anything to try it. They just won't eat it if it's too cold, But I insulated my top around my feeding jars. The heat of the cluster below kept it warm, and I'm feeding all mine, and it's going to be below freezing tomorrow night. I refilled all my jars today. Thanks for mentoring all of us. We appreciate you. Thank you, the Bennett family lights. Well, I appreciate that. It's my pleasure. I'm passionate about helping you guys, okay? I overwintered my first hive 4 frames of bees after bouncing back from European foul brood. European foul brood. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. European foul brood would be Melissococcus plutonus. They're doing well, building up. Will a small colony like this still want to swarm if I provide space? That's kind of iffy. If they're going to be busy drawing out comb and they don't have a good population that they want, they're not sizable, they may not swarm, but never say never. That's amazing. You got 4 frames through the winter like that. That's amazing. Good for you. All right. Slap me some more questions. Bruce, my package of bees arrived today, and I installed them in a queenless hive that had a lot of resources and bees who nonetheless survived the winter. My concern is the new queen is caged. Yeah. And so, Bruce, let me explain this to you. A lot of times we think that the only factor to get that queen accepted is that they have to get used to her pheromones. That's kind of true, but more importantly, the queen has to take on the pheromone of the entire nest for her to fit in and smell like one of the girls. Okay, so that's kind of the negotiation that's going on here. But you're gonna have to watch that. Yeah, you definitely want, if they truly are queenless, no queen cells, no virgin queens in there, nothing in the oven, then they'll probably do fine accepting her, but you're going to have to keep an eye out on that. Yep. That's a good time for me to say the banner at the bottom says, check out our beekeeping classes. All of my online beekeeping courses are 50% off till the end of this month, helping you guys out in the spring. So if you haven't taken one of my online courses, please take advantage of half off to get your foot in the door to really understand beekeeping thoroughly. Hey, Jesse, I'm very interested in hearing more about pollen traps. Do you prefer entrance mounted or bottom mounted traps? How long to keep them without inspecting the health of the hive? Yeah, I have used them, and I prefer the ones that just mount on to the entrance. That works really good. It's really easy to access it. It's probably better to put that on at night, but I use them. I think I just saw one today around here somewhere, and it captured a lot of pollen. Now, my concern is what you're hinting at is, yeah, you can actually steal too much pollen, and the bees need it to raise brood. So you want to do it without making the bees suffer and go hungry and not have protein. Thank you for your donations, guys. Appreciate that. Oh, it says we need more likes. We always like to try to get 500 likes just for fun on the live stream. All right, Deborah. Found the blue-gray mold in the bottom deeps in 2 different hives. Both had darker wax and frames. One had a solid bottom board. One had dead bees in the bottom, but top boxes were okay. What is this? You know, it's just a result of too much moisture in the hive. They couldn't handle the excess moisture that happens in the wintertime. Sometimes it's condensation, and it just gets trapped up around the boxes and all. It will stain. It maybe mildew. It will stain your boxes and your frames. I've seen it from time to time. I don't do anything about it, and it doesn't affect my bees at all. So I wouldn't sweat over it. I know we don't like that in our houses or homes, but bees don't seem to care. All right. I bought a hive recently that overwintered and needed split from the moment I bought them. I did a walkaway split. Any tips? Super nervous going to buy a mated queen 1 week after a walkaway split. Oh, okay. You need to be nervous because, Jen, what's going to happen? They've already started raising a queen. The minute you split, if they both had eggs, then the one that didn't have the queen, that walkaway is going to be raising a queen. They've started a queen cell. The word is out. There's posters all around the hive. It's on the internet inside the hive. It's on their Facebook group. All the bees have a Facebook group, I guess, and they've posted that they're raising a queen. And if you buy one and put it in there without checking first to make sure they indeed are hopelessly queenless, they will kill your expensive queen that you bought. So keep that in mind. Yep. And I see we have over 800 people tonight that have joined our live stream. Guys, make room back there. Come on in. we can have a little room in the back for more people. Dysentery inside my hive that didn't make it through winter. What's the best way to clean the frames so I can reuse them this year? Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's when bees defecate inside the hive like that, couldn't hold it any longer. They got too small, couldn't handle that. And you don't like it because if it does have nosema spores in it, that can be tracked around in a future hive. So if you can't clean it off really good, I mean, traditional ways, I've heard keeping them out in the sun, a direct sun for a while. Yeah, it's just going to be tough. I don't like to take chances. If there's not too many of them, I'll just get new frames. Yeah. Hey, I'm John from Greece. Well, John, wow, thanks for being here from Greece. My question is, drones from a queen right hive is that a question? Drones from a queen right hive had the same fertility compared with drones from a queenless worker laying hive. Yeah, they do. The laying worker drones are smaller. We don't kind of like that they're going to be mating with virgin queens. They can probably get the job done, but here's my way of thinking about it. Since they're a little smaller, they developed inside of a worker-sized cell, so they're smaller. Even if they have the sperm count that the big boys have, what's going to be tough is getting ahead on the comet. The comet is a group of hundreds of drones chasing the virgin queen, and the ones at the lead of the race are the ones that are going to be doing the mating. And so these little guys that are smaller have shorter wings. Maybe they're not going to have the power to get up there in the head of the comet and get to the table and, you know, all that stuff. So that's the problem. Yeah. Good question, though. I like these questions. All right. Oh, here we go. David, high temp 80 to 90 in central Texas, lows above 45. 6 of my double deep colonies are really thriving. Put medium supers on, undrawn frames that are out, feeding syrup, right? Well, if you put your honey supers on to get those frames drawn out, watch it because they might put the syrup in your medium honey supers. You can help them metabolize that and make wax, but don't let them put the syrup in your honey supers. Okay. You just have to go out there and watch. If you see that, stop feeding them. You got honey supers on there. I never feed when I have honey supers on. Hey, Daniel, will bees starve before they eat stored pollen? Well, bees need both carbohydrate and protein. So they get energy from their carbohydrates. And if they don't have carbohydrates, just like us, they get draggy and droopy, and they may not have enough energy to eat the protein. So they need both. Think of it in that light. Yeah. Hey, Tracy, if ever, would you shake more nurse bees into the nuke when making a split? Oh yeah, I do that when I'm raising queens, and I thought about that too. I'm going to check this hive that I split. I'll be looking in that hive to make sure they have enough bees in there. And yeah, if I don't see bees, I can always grab a frame of open brood, eggs and larvae, and then shake some of those bees off into this nuke. They won't fly away because they're not foragers, and it will kind of help them raise new brood. I would do it when I feel the population is really too low. We'll do one more question, and then we'll have a giveaway, okay? Please wait and guess what word it is. Okay, hi, David. Hello, Karen. Is it okay to use old comb and put it into a new box? And should I freeze it, or is it okay to leave it in the shed until ready for a new package? It's okay to leave it in your shed, provided wax moth, mice, ants don't get in there and ruin it for you. And yeah, you can reuse old comb. Most of us feel like drawn out comb is so helpful for bees to get a head start. It really is. Yeah. All right, let's have a giveaway. You want to do that? I am excited about a new giveaway. We haven't showed this one before, but it is a tumbler. A tumbler is something you drink out of. It took me a little while when somebody said, tumbler. What's a tumbler? I feel like, a mat. You tumble on a mat. Anyway, look at this. It is Van Gogh's drawing, and it's got the beekeeper, right, looking out over the starry night over his or her beehives. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. Look at all those hives out there. Yeah. So it's a starry night tumbler. I love these. They keep all your drinks hot if they're hot, and they keep all your cold drinks cold. Really works good. So we're going to give this away. Hashtag tumbler. It is a Beak Squad Starry Night tumbler with the beekeeper looking out over their hives. That's really cool. So let's take a few more questions. Oh, by the way, those of you that are new, you asked me, David, how do I put my name in the hat for the giveaways? Well, in the chat, you just put in hashtag tumbler. That's all you have to do. Don't do it more than once. It doesn't help you. And then that's it. If you're looking at a TV, you're going to have to work a lot harder. It's harder to leave comments on a television, but on your phone, an iPad, or a computer, it's pretty easy. Okay. All right. I'm getting my first bees ever next week, and I want to know what one piece of advice you would give if you could only give one top tip. Oh, I can't give one top tip. I have a million that I want to give you. Okay, so the best way to describe it is get to know everything you can about beekeeping. The more you know, then you won't have to wonder what is the best tip, because you know all the tips, you know all the things you should be doing. So pour yourself into books, pour yourself into understanding mite control, understanding how biology of honeybees. So the more you understand the biology of honeybees, beekeeping becomes so easy, right? It's riding a bicycle if you know the biology thoroughly. It really is, no kidding. It is. Once I started, and I don't know all biology, I continue to learn, but once I understand more and more bee biology, it gets so easy to keep bees. Oh my gosh, it's so easy. Hey, Terry. Thanks, David. I have 1 quart jars, 5 hives. Only 1 hive is taking the syrup in 1 to 2 days. The others are taking a long time. How long can I leave these jars on before it goes bad? If the temperatures are in the 50s, it's probably not. It depends on what else you've added to it, but it's probably going to be fine for a while. It's a little bit cooler. You can just wait and see. That's one thing I never worry about. Yeah. All right, let's have one more question. Then we'll see who's winning the tumbler tonight. Good to see all of you. David, do bees eventually replace old dark comb on their own, or do they just keep repairing and using the old? They don't get rid of the old comb. I've never seen that. I've never seen them replace it. They will repair it if you damage it, but no, it's going to be dark and get darker and have more cocoons in it and get darker and smaller and darker. Now, they might, if you add a new super or box above that one with, they can draw out, they'll put new wax above it, but no, they won't do anything. It just keeps getting old and dark. Oh, and I will say about dark comb, I got to be honest with you. I don't know if this is what, it's anecdotal, of course, backyard beekeeping, but I replaced most of my old comb with brand new foundation, Acorn Foundation, not a paid promotion, but Acorn Foundation double wax last year. And my bees were so good. Oh my gosh, my brood areas were so strong. I kind of think that old brood just isn't good. That old comb isn't good. After a while, I had some of that comb well over 10 years, and it just gets too much bad stuff in it. It collects everything from our environment. Studies have been shown. So think about that. Don't let your old comb get too old. All right, Robbie, let's see who's going to win this nice, beautiful tumbler. If you're just stopping in, hashtag tumbler, and it is a beautiful tumbler. Put your drinks in here. Got the beehives all listed, shown there on this tumbler. Van Gogh's Starry Night. See the beekeeper looking out over the hives. Hashtag tumbler. Let's see who's going to win this tonight. All right. Good to see all the names going by really quickly. Wonderful. There's Marianne, Eugene. Michael's the winner tonight. Well, congratulations, Michael. You've won the tumbler. If some of you were just dying to get that tumbler, remember, you can always go to our website, click on the merchandise, and you can buy a tumbler just like the one you saw. Oh, by the way, Michael, email us within 24 hours at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com so we can mail that to you as soon as possible. All right. Now, we have time to do something special tonight that I love to do. I'm going to only do it one time because I'm so tempted to do it more times. But here it is. It's the Spin the Win wheel. And it has a lot of cool stuff on it. And where it lands, it'll just reveal what we need to do and who might win and all that good stuff. So let's spin it. And it seems like Sherry said it keeps landing on the same spot. So let me tweak the little wing nut on the back, see if I can get it to spin longer. Ready? Oh, there it went. That was a good spin. All right. Spin to win wheel. And it's still going. Okay. It went to Miss. Have we done Miss before, Sherry? Oh, we haven't? Okay. So let me look on my notes here. Is it Fact or Fiction? Story time. Myth. Here it comes. Myth. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Now I'm going to ask you guys a question, and you got to tell me if it's a myth or not, okay? So you're going to leave a comment. This is how this works. All right. I have several ones to choose from, so I'm trying to think. That's going to be different if you're in the UK, so I may skip that. I've already answered that one. Okay, it's going to be down to these two. Here we go. The queen is in charge of the hive. Is that a myth or a fact? Is the queen in charge? Leave your comment now. Let's see what you guys think about this. Is the queen calling all the shots? She telling everybody what to do? Is the queen in charge? Myth. Myth. Is the queen calling all the shots? She's got the royal crown on. Come on. She's dressed in purple. Nobody? Everybody says it's a myth. That's because you're all Beak Squad members. You watch my videos regularly. Now you're scared to put anything different because the majority is like myth, 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 myth. She's in charge of my house. Oh, Patrick. Patrick is quick on his feet, isn't he? He's my videographer and friend. Good job, Patrick. Yeah, that just sounds, I can hear Patrick saying that. 350 likes. You need 150. Oh, somebody said the queen is in charge. Need 150 more likes to get to 500. Workers are in charge. Okay. Myth. Queen's not in charge. All right. Looks like it's a myth for sure. Fact. We got a fact. All right. All right. Let me just wrap it up here and tell you this. The queen is not calling the shots. The queen primarily does just a couple things. She lays eggs and spreads pheromones, queen mandibular pheromones around. And so the older bees are the ones that are kind of manipulating the queen. Like if they want her to swarm, they feed her less so she can't lay as many eggs. And when they want to swarm and leave the box, the queen's not in charge. She will not leave the box. They have to come alongside of her, get her kind of warmed up, buzz her, and basically force her out into the swarm. So no, she's not in charge. She's just doing what queens do. It's a lot to do with the older bees calling the shots. Yeah, that's a fun myth to have, isn't it? Okay, that's fun. Okay, good. Well, that was a good. We got a lot of things on this wheel that we'll get to in future live streams as well. All right, let's take some more questions. Let's have some rapid fire questions. By the way, tomorrow on Friday, I always answer the questions that I didn't get to today. Started back up the green chair answer day on Friday. That video comes out late in the afternoon, so be looking for that. If you didn't get your question answered here, I will answer it tomorrow. Whether your question gets answered or not has nothing to do whether you donate or not. I'm working hard for you, okay? All right, what is the minimum temperature a split can handle? 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You're talking about the evening lows. A good size hive, a good size split will handle temperatures a little bit below freezing, but not too much. Hello, David. Does clipping the corners of undrawn plastic foundation make any difference? You're talking about sometimes they're perforated. That's called a communication hole. It makes it easier for the bees to walk around without having to go all the way around the barn. What's the average time between when a queen stops laying and when she swarms with half the colony? She will lay a little bit. She slows down her laying before she swarms. So you'll see a reduction in her egg laying maybe a week before. Haven't done my first inspection yet here in Wisconsin, central Wisconsin. Should I do a mite count and treat as soon as possible if necessary? Yeah, why not? If the temperature is good, do a mite count. Make sure your population is good. Don't kill bees if you're low on population. If my bees swarm and I catch it, can I put them next to the original box that they just left? Can I put them next to the original? Sure. Yeah, you can do that. They'll reorientate. I don't think they will never coexist again as one colony. Time for a couple more. Will giving a new package a frame of brood help prevent absconding? I think so. I believe it does, because make sure it's eggs and larvae, because they feel committed to raise all that brood and feed them. I think it would help. Absolutely. David, what's the best thing to do with packages with a brand new hive box with only plastic foundation? Coat the plastic foundation with wax. If you can't do that, buy some wax off Amazon, 100% beeswax, coat it, make it smell good for the bees, and of course, feed them. Absolutely. Feed them, they metabolize sugar into wax. One more. David, once you start feeding your new package, when should you remove and stop feeding your bees? Once you see them slowing down, however, Steve, as long as the bees are drawing out foundation, keep feeding them to help them draw the brood foundation out. Is going to help you a lot. That's all the time we have for tonight. Woohoo! Thank you guys for watching the live stream. Got another live stream in the hat for us. Good job, Sherry, Jessica, and Robbie. You guys did a great job tonight administrating the live stream. I just want to thank all of you for being here. That was powerful. And I loved it so much. Love seeing all of you. Love hearing it. I see a lot of you are getting new packages. Best of wishes to all of you that are new to beekeeping. And remember, I've got your back. I'm actually here for you, okay? You're the hero, not me. You're the hero. I'm working for you to help you have healthier bees and make fewer mistakes. And so just keep watching my videos. I appreciate it so much. I'll say this. Good night. I love you. I'll see you in the next video.